fabulous artists. This one video is for maybe our upper grade kiddos or those artists that want a little bit of a challenge. We've created today a gratitude tree. We talked about gratitude in our launch, and underneath my lighter leaves I have my gratitudes, what I'm grateful for. So I have art, I have healthcare professionals and doctors and nurses, a home, all sorts of different things, healthy food. So before you start, you can do a little brainstorming to think about what you're grateful for. The lesson this week is going to be based on being grateful, and also visual texture would be our art vocabulary word. So we're going to talk about texture. But first, we're going to create our leaves. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to take our paper and you're going to fold it in half. And you're going to fold it in half one more time. And then our last fold. It does not have to be perfect fold, so don't worry about it. But a way that you can make them even is you line up the edges, hold it down with your hand, and then crease with your opposite hand. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, see, it's not perfect, no big deal. I'm going to draw the shape of a leaf, and the way that I do that is kind of like a curve, like parentheses. You're going to go up and stop, but make sure that you stop on the fold. So you want to have the fold facing your stomach, so facing towards you, and then you're going to come down. So you have this bottom part of your leaf on the fold. I'm going to do it one more time. So here's the fold right here. This is the fold down here. You're going to come up and then you're going to go down. Okay, and they don't have to be perfect leaves because leaves are perfect. So when you're cutting, you're going to make sure that, again, the fold is here and where the point is, it's open. So go ahead and start your cutting. And the reason that we're doing this is so we can create the dimension with the leaves. Now, if you have a different shape of leaf you want to do, that's absolutely fine. You're welcome to be creative. So now we're going to separate all of our little folded pieces. And we have lots and lots of leaves. Yay! Tons of leaves. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this other little paper that I have here to color on top of. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to color one section of your leaf a light green if you have it. And if you want to use rainbow colors, that's fine too. If you want to use a different color, that's fine. Remember when we talked about coloring, we talked about going in circles and not pressing hard. If you want a darker color, you're just going to do another layer. I'm going to go fairly quick right now, so you don't have to watch me color. So now I have the first part of my leaf. Now I'm going to fold it so it's like this is the cover and this is the inside. On the inside of the leaf, so see that? We're going to color it a darker green. Now, if you want to use different colors, if you don't want to do this technique, that's fine too. But what I find really interesting is it kind of creates a little dimension, and it's fun to put what we're grateful for, and then it's kind of like a surprise. You open it up and you can look inside. So where you're going to be writing your grateful words or things that you're grateful for is on the darker color. Now with this darker green, you can create what leaves have on them in their veins. I'm going to show you these. So if you look up close, there's lots of little lines in the leaves. And if you want to do an experiment, you can also get one of your leaves and do a leaf rubbing on top of it. And it will show the different textures, either using a colored pencil or you can use a crayon. But you can do get some bigger leaves. This one's a little bit tiny for this, but I did one earlier on this one so you can see that was this leaf right here. So you can make leaves that way too. So now you're gonna create those veins. Those veins are like a texture of the leaf. They're bumpier. If you look on one side, it's bumpy. So on your light green side, you're gonna do a vertical line going up. And what I want you to do is to climb your ladder with your pencil and then do a diagonal out. Then I want you to go back to that spot, climb a little higher, do a diagonal out to the left. Then from that spot, climb a little higher, diagonal whoop, climb a little higher, diagonal whoop. And then you're going to create sort of a Y shape on the edges of these veins of our leaves. So then the cool part is, see right now you can't see the dark green. So what you do is you just move the top over a little bit and then fold it again. So you have sort of this double layered leaf effect. And then you can write your word on here. Now it's okay if your word shows, or if you don't want your word to show, you can write it right here. So for example, maybe you're grateful for, I'm gonna say tech, because technology is allowing us to still do school and see each other, which I think is so amazing. So it has its benefits. So there you go. So right now you can pause the video and do all of your leaves. Remember, the cover is light, the inside is dark, and that's where we write our words. I'll see you back in just a second. So now that our leaves are all done, we are going to create our tree trunk. I'm going to use one that I already used a little bit because I want to make sure that I'm reusing my paper. So we're going to start with a vertical line that's going up. So if you imagine dividing your paper into threes, into thirds, there we go. It's about a third. 1, 2, 3. You can start on one side, go in a little bit because trees get thinner as they go towards the top. And then stop about in the same place. So right here, we're gonna do a vertical line going out. A diagonal line. And then we're gonna climb a little higher on the left, and we're gonna do another vertical diagonal. All right. From here, these two branches should be thinner at the edges and thicker towards the base. So we're going to go in and meet it. And we are going to meet it. There we go. Now we're gonna come up a little bit, and we're gonna do another diagonal whoop. But this time, I'm gonna make it a small little V right here. And on this V, I'm gonna make this side go higher. So I just drew a V. Now I can take this side, make it go thinner, 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 and a little thicker there. Because like I said, it's thinner out here and thicker there. I'm gonna climb up and go out again. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do a diagonal whoop, the letter V, one side higher. See how that's the letter V? And I'm gonna come down and make it a little thicker there. So maybe I'll do one more, just goes off the page, because you know me, it's okay to go off the page. And let's do this. There we go. Now we have our tree. Now we're gonna create texture on our tree. So by doing that, I'm gonna get a dark brown colored pencil to start. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create some lines. And these lines should kind of follow the shape of the tree. And don't worry about it looking amazingly perfect right now. You're just trying to get in some texture. So we're trying to make the tree not look smooth. Most of the bark on trees are not super smooth. Maybe a birch tree is smooth. There's some other trees that have smooth, but our redwoods and different trees around our area, we have some really bumpy textured trees. So remember, texture, visual texture is the way something looks like it might feel. So we don't want our tree trunk to look very smooth. We want it to look more bumpy. So I'm just creating a lot of lines on here. Okay, so So a lot of different lines. It's okay to go off the page a little bit and to the edge. I'm going to sharpen my, well, no, it's all right, I don't need to. So sometimes on trees, they have these sort of rounded knot areas. So you can make sort of like a knot and darken it. And maybe there's one over here. You could darken it up. And a knot in the tree sometimes has like this curved shape. So you want to create some of these curved shapes and darken in some of these areas really well. And this is going to start to create some depth in your drawing, so it looks a little bit more realistic. So I'm going back in and darkening some of the lines I already have put in place by just shading it. So I'm shading a little bit of those lines here. If you don't have another color brown, you only have one color brown, what you can do is just use the pressure of your hand to go darker and lighter. So right now I'm using one color, but it looks like I have different values of that color, different pressure. If you use different pressure, it'll show different values, okay? So you can go lightly now and kind of color in that whole tree. Take your time. And I do have another brown. This is not my favorite brown because it's pretty yellow, but you could go in with another brown and add some more. A little fly. So I'm not going to take your time up while I color this all in. Here's one I did earlier. And I haven't quite added all the textures in here. Okay, so back to this guy. We'll take our time and kind of color it all in. Now you want to add some grass. So here's another place to add texture. A lot of times we may just do a horizontal line to create a grass effect, but if you really look at grass in nature, it's a whole bunch of little blades. And we're going to create those by doing little lines at the bottom of our paper. And don't worry about making them perfectly straight up and down, because this right here, that's not really what the grass looks like, right? The grass doesn't have spaced out perfect vertical lines. So go ahead and like do it loose. Relax your hand, make some of them go different directions. They can cross, you can do it light and then dark. Again, showing that value with just one color. I'm showing value by pressing darker and then pressing lighter. So you all know I like to draw sideways, so I'm going to turn my paper for a second. Hopefully that doesn't mess you up too much. Now, if you want to go back in with another color green, you're welcome to do that. I do have a lighter color. I can kind of show you what that looks like here. Now here's a cool time to add some mixed media. If you have some watercolors at home, you can watercolor around your tree all the way down to your grass, because remember the sky is not one strip of blue that we just see. So you want to do blue all the way down to here. You can watercolor that, or you can be very patient and color it all in. Maybe you have some blue paper at home. You can rip it up and mosaic and paste the collage in the back of that. Get creative. Show me a sky, a sunset, something. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, once I have created all of my leaves, and you take your time, mine aren't all colored yet, but you just move them apart to kind of show the dimension. You're gonna wanna lay them out first to check out the composition. So the composition is the way that something looks on your canvas. So for now, our paper is our canvas. So I'm gonna kind of get an idea of like how many leaves I would need. Put one down here. Might want one up there. And I may do one right here. And now if I look at it and I think, oh, that's enough leaves, then I can start gluing it down. And the way that I have been gluing the leaves down is I just take and I put the glue on the dark color, okay? And then we just stick it down. And then leave this, obviously, don't glue that down because then you can't read what you're grateful for. So you do that with all the leaves. And if you feel like you need more leaves, then this is a good opportunity to go back and get some more of your paper and cut some more leaves out. So I think if this was my final copy, I might want like one more leaf right here so it kind of goes off the page. Okay? So I would love to see your finished work. You can head on over to our flip grid. I'll put that link on text on this video so you can see it. And I can't wait to see you guys again. Please keep creating, be grateful, and be kind. I'll see you soon.